Tell you what, go into your working folder and try to catch my rooster, roosteroutline.ai. Go ahead and open him up in Adobe Illustrator. Now let me give you a short history of the rooster. He didn't begin his life in Adobe Illustrator. He began his life on a piece of paper, my sketch pad, and a pencil. That's all this was. Now, like me, a lot of you probably grew up drawing and doodling. I work in waters and oil colors. I'm not giving that stuff up. I mean, I love my computer, don't get me wrong. I've got drawing tablets and all kinds of crazy things. But I still like to sit down with a sketch pad or do something on oil or watercolor on a canvas. I still like doing that. But how do I get something like this drawing into Adobe Illustrator, not as a photograph scanned, but as a vector? Now, this is something we're going to talk about later. Got a whole chapter for it. It's called Live Trace. If you've not used Live Trace, you are going to love it. It allows you to scan, raster, scan, well, like this rooster, and convert into an object with the click of a button. Something this simple is very easy. That's how we got here. He is a vector object, as you can see. But what we want to do in this particular lesson is just do some basic, simple fills. We want to fill with colors. Right now, he's empty. No fills. And if I turn off the background, which is a locked layer, you can see right through him. The problem with dealing with filling areas, and this is just my technique, but the problem is you've got to select actually by clicking on the actual stroke. You can't click in here. There's nothing there to click on. And I hate it when that happens. So what I usually do, this is what I do, is I select everything, Control A, and that's Command A on a Mac, Control A in Windows, and fill everything with something, like maybe a main color that I want to use, and then work from that point forward, because that way I can click on areas because they have a fill in them. Makes life easier. Let's do this. Let's pick our swatches up and drag it over here for a second and pull this down. And the cool thing is, these are different than what you'll probably see if you're opening up a new document. But since I saved these colors with Rooster, you will have them. And I'm going to just pick something like this, and let's fill all of those areas in. Now that makes it easier to select an area. All I got to do is click right up here. So that gives us our start. The next thing is the toenails down here basically are in a group because they were kind of hard to select. So I thought I'd save some time and put those into a group. We've done groups. Now let's make those a different color, like maybe one of these. All right. Now how about these two areas right here? And let's make those maybe a little bit darker. Now maybe I want to expand out beyond these colors right here, and I want to use colors that are, well, complementary to what I'm doing. Now I doubt if a rooster has complementary colors, but I'm from Wichita, Kansas. That's in the USA. And there is a lot of farmland around Wichita, but I live in the city. I'm kind of a city-fied person. I hear roosters, don't see too many of them, so I'm going to color this guy the way I want to. But I need more complementary colors. I'll tell you what, why don't you do this? Go over to the color guide, and let me see if I can pull that over here so we can see this one too. Let me make that a little bit bigger. And let's move that over just a little bit like this. It's giving me complementary colors based on the color I have down here. Helps me out. Now I want to get these areas under here, like this one. I'm going to hold my Shift key down and click. Now watch something that's important. When you Shift click, don't Shift click until you see the arrow. Otherwise you won't be selecting it. Okay, I've got those areas selected. Let's make those one of my complementaries up here. Make them a little bit darker. Something like that. Now, I made a mistake. I wanted to colorize this area up here the same color as this down here, but I forgot which one of these I clicked on up here, and so I'm going to do something else. I'm going to select this area right here. I'm going to pick up my eyedropper tool over here, and then I will click over here, and it will be more than glad to fill that area for me. You're getting the idea. Let's do one or two more areas. Let me go ahead and zoom in first. Oh, say right about here, because those areas are kind of small. Now, I do know COMB, that's a comb. See, I know what that is. If I select it, I've always seen those as red on roosters, and so I'm going to come back over here and choose a red, and I go, whoa, that's more red than what I want, so I can mute it down over here in the color guide. Control. Let's do his beak. Okay, if we get the beak selected, and we got it selected, let's make that one of these over here. I think beaks are kind of grayish. And let's go ahead and pick up that nose hole right there and make that black. And let's make the center of his eye black. And let's see if I can get that outside of the eye. No, I tell you what, let's make that even bigger. Go big or go home. And let's try that again. Third time's the charm. There we go. And, well, whites of their eyes. I don't know if chickens have white eyes, but there you go. Mine does. And we could keep going with this. You get the idea. When you're working with filling something in, if when you're trying to fill it in, basically it's not filled in with anything, it becomes difficult to actually get in there and make those selections. But if you have the ability to fill them in, which you do with, say, a generic color, you can then move forward, and it makes it easier to fill those areas in. So, well, there you go. My chicken, actually rooster, of a different color.